Hey guys, Veronica Fleischer here, and today in this video I bring you something a little bit more about my favorite pens, PMU pens, and those are Fleisch pens, of course. So first thing that I want to tell you about those two pens is some properties they have similar or the same. So first thing you need to know is that they both have this universal RCI connection, which is universal for most of the machines. And another thing is that they have easy click system needle attachment. So this is also universal. So that means you can use a needle that you like, for example, Quadro needles or Expert Series needles, which are one of my favorites, those two brands, or any other brand that use this easy click system attachment. So both of these pens are pretty universal, so you can use it with whatever power supply you like to, because the RCI cable is compatible with that, or with the needles that you actually like and you use them for many years, for example. Another thing that is very similar with both of these pens is the ergonomy. And you can see here, we have like a little slim part of the machine, and that means that fits very easily into the hands. So if you hold it, it's very easy to hold it. Another thing is, of course, they are very similar in shape, but of course there are differences between them. And now we will start with the differences. So as you can see, first thing, of course, one of them is smaller. This one is called Fleisch pen Mini, and this one is called Fleisch pen, but nowadays we call it Classic. So if I prefer it to Classic or Mini, you will know what I will be talking about. So of course there is the difference between the size and of course between the weight. So Fleisch pen Classic has 94 grams and Fleisch pen Mini has 77 grams. So that means it's a little bit less heavier. I would say like none of these are really heavy unless you switch from really some tiny little, the classic PMU machines that has really lightweight pens. But if you switch from other brands that use this same system, I think the weight will be similar. Of course, with the mini pen, that will be a little easier because this is light-handed. Another difference is, and this is the most important one, and that is the stroke of the needle. Fleisch pen Classic, this one, has the stroke 3.5, and that means that the needle is traveling a little longer and hits the skin a little harder. So when you work with this machine, that means it has really easy implementation, but I would not recommend it for those who are heavy-handed, who doesn't know the pressure, who are still learning and they are not sure if their pressure is correct. So this machine can be not a good choice for you actually, but for experienced artists it can be very good choice because it's really easy to implement the skin inside. So also another thing, with the 3.5 stroke, you can also use this machine as a tattoo machine for a body art, but I would not recommend it for those who do only the body tattoos, because if you use, for example, a higher needles like Magnums 21 or something like that, the motor would not be that much strong and you might damage the machine actually. But for a smaller tattoos, when you don't use this high configuration of the needles, it's really good and smart choice. So basically you can have one pen for small body art and also for PMU as well. Fleisch pen Mini has the stroke 3.0, and that means that's more suitable for face as well. And for those of you who are still fighting with the pressure thing, or you are not sure if your pressure is correct, of course this machine will be very good choice for you because the stroke is a little bit less, and that means it's not hitting the skin as hard as, for example, the Fleisch pen Classic. So those are the main differences between them. And I also want to show you some things on latex so you would see the pattern of the needle. So you can decide which machine also is better for you, because each of the pen do a little different pattern. So it actually means that you need several pens in order to create some different effects. So let's see the latex now. So I prepared the two machines are plugged into the power supply, and they have the same, I start with this one, they have the same speed. And I will do just a little session of powder effect, shading, and I will add later on the effect on the screen, so you would see the close-up. The close-up will be really from the macro lens, so you would see properly the difference, because normally if you would look with your eye you might not see the difference that much, but when you look with the macro needle it will show you the difference. About this machine, you can hear the sound. I will put it closer to my microphone. The motor is very strong. And now, this one is a little quiet, and we are proud of it. We were testing similar products, similar pens, and I can proudly say this one is the less loudest. So only when you take it to your hand and start to work on a latex, you will see immediately, or you will feel the difference in your hands, because with the lower stroke, you will feel, or you will have the feeling that the needle is softer, but that's because of the stroke. So what is the difference between the pattern that is with lower stroke? The dots that you create with the powdery movement are actually a little bit closer together, and overall it creates this velvet effect. So for example, if you would take a lips and you will do the shading on the lips and you will use the machine with the stroke 3.0, that would create more dense color, more velvet feeling. And if you would take, for example, Flash Pen Classic, which has 3.5, which is higher stroke, and you would create the same lips but only change the stroke, that would create the more powdery effect. The dots would be more distant between each other, and it would create more powdery effect. So it also depends what you want to create, and for you as an artist and for me, we should have more tools, not just one, if we want to be professional and if we want to create different effects. So it really, really depends on your hands, first of all, if they are heavy or soft, or what you want to create, what is your goal to create. So sometimes when I do, for example, lips, I switch both of these pens, because with this pen it's much easier, much faster, but with this pen it creates more velvet effect at the end. So it's also a good thing to combine both of these together in one procedure, for example, in order to create the perfect results. So this is it from me. I hope you learned something, and let me know what my next video should be about. See you guys.